this is Abby.
Hey, Abby, it's Ian Bagwell Brooksource. How are you?
I'm good, Ian, thanks. How are you today?
Not too shabby. I appreciate you picking up the phone here.
Absolutely. What can I do for you?
Yeah, well, Abby, my organization, Brooksource, we're an approved staffing partner at the state of Kentucky. And I really just wanted to call you today to introduce myself and then even talk through some of the different ways we could help teams such as, yours in engineering as well.
Staffing? I don't know much about that, but I'll tell you what, the fulcrum level on the swing arm underneath 31's viaduct is causing a whole slew of problems for the CDE.
Now, did you understand any of that? Of course you did. And that's okay, because that was absolute gibberish. But by the end of this video, hopefully you've learned how to understand and navigate the unknown waters of state highway engineering. Come over here. As many of you have likely discovered, state governments are governed in districts. For today's example, we're going to use Kentucky, which is governed in 12 different districts. Now, if you take a deeper look into each of these districts, you'll find that all of them are ran by what's called a chief district engineer. And you'll see that chief district engineer reports up to the state highway engineer, as do the other 12. Think of the state highway engineer like a CIO in IT, and think of the CDEs as directors. Now, for each CDE, they will likely have 3 branch managers reporting up to them: construction, maintenance, and planning. Within these branches, you'll find different skill sets. Maintenance is primarily going to cover groundskeeping, landscaping, things of that nature. Where planning is going to be our bread and butter. That's where you'll find the civil engineers, the people drafting the plans to build the bridges with the faulty fulcrums. Am I right? And construction, the people that will then act on the plans that civil engineers have laid out. Now, before we go, I think it's important to tell you what we learned when calling on the state of Kentucky. The state of Kentucky has an agreement with the University of Kentucky where entry-level engineers can start working at the state. For 3 years, they will receive their professional engineering license, which is awesome, until they realize that professional engineering license can make them a lot more money in the private sector. So, what the state finds themselves in is a constant revolving door of mid to senior level talent with an abundance of entry-level talent. Now, a procurement official also quoted us a timeline of a 9-month onboarding process to get people that they are interested in the door, which has caused a lot of problems. And lastly, we talked about the chief district engineer, the state highway engineers, the branch managers in the different branches. Now, within all those branches, obviously there's going to be different employees. We actually did a bottom-up sell with this. We started with transportation engineers, learned what the role was, moved up to branch managers, learned what their role was and their troubles, moved up to chief district engineer, a little procurement bubble in between, and we're trying to get through that bubble to get up to the state highway engineer. But what I will tell you is, don't spend too much time talking to transportation engineers or branch managers. If you can talk to a few, and you get them saying some similar issues, go ahead and move on up the ladder. Now that we've learned all that, let's wrap up this call the right way.
Wow, I can certainly understand why that could have been a problem for the CDE. What's been holding the planning and construction branches from resolving that?
Well, Ian, you seem to understand the breakdown of our organization quite well, so I feel comfortable telling you that the planning branch has been a revolving door for our engineers lately.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And to be honest, this is a situation we see with state governments across the U.S. and even within other cabinets here in Kentucky as well.
Really? I'd like to hear more.
Yeah, certainly, Abby. That sounds great. But let's go ahead and just get something on the calendar for next week. And in the meantime, feel free to reach out to either Christy Bowen or Randall Royer. Those are people we've worked with quite a bit, so they should be able to tell you a little bit about how we help their groups as well.
That sounds great, Ian. Let's do coffee next Wednesday, and thanks for your help bridging these gaps.
Hey, not a problem, Abby. We'll be on the road to resolving this in no time.